Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mr. Joshua with another custom action figure review. And today I'd like to show off to you guys my new custom Black Ranger Lightning figure. I bought this figure about 2 weeks ago. In addition, I bought another White Ranger to get with it, so I can do this custom. This is my variation of what the Black Ranger would look like if he had the White Ranger armor on. And it was actually a pretty easy custom that I did. The hard part was sanding down the joints on the lower legs and the lower arms to prevent paint rub. Originally, what I was going to do was I was going to pop these guys off on the bottom and the arms, and I was going to use my RIT dye and dye those black. But when you dye anything like that that has paint on it, especially when it comes to these little gold cuffs, it'll turn into almost a weird like copper gold looking color because all that paint absorbs the dye as well, and there really isn't no way around it except for painting, so that's what I did. This figure, the Black Ranger, was originally the one that came with the Dragon Shield, and I didn't realize that this was the same figure until I had it in person. The seller before me who owned this action figure, he actually took the Dragon Shield off, and he also painted the upper arm cuffs black. And so in the pictures, I didn't realize that they were there because it was black and blended in pretty well. So what I did was I actually repainted those gold just to make this figure look more complete. And it was a pretty cheap figure too. I bought it for like $5 off eBay, $4 shipping and handling. It came with the power axe, but that was about it. And it came with extra hands or a civilian head or anything like that, which is fine with me because I have like 2 or 3 Zack heads just sitting around, so it's whatever. But yeah, this figure wasn't really that bad to do. I also painted the this was actually a test, but I painted the soles black as well. I used a paint pen on the soles, and I'm not going to do that ever again because it just, it literally comes right off. So after this video, I'm going to sand all the black off and, put some real paint on the figure's soles. But yeah, I think overall, it came out pretty cool. Again, what I did was I took the White Ranger, I took his legs off, and took the arms off. I even switched out the belt buckle as well. And then I gave him the White Ranger vest that was pretty easy to put on. And painted a little bit, on the arms, legs, a little bit of that. And I also used the original Black Ranger joint pegs on there too, so and that way it was a little bit easier. A little bit of a paint rub there, no biggie. I can always sand that down some more. And the cool thing too is that this is a resin cast Saba that I made myself a while back ago. And I actually have an abundance of these, at least 50 or 60 of them unpainted, just laying around. And since the actual ones are kind of hard to come by, I just figured I would, give this guy a painted one. And the paint isn't 100% on there. I started painted this yesterday. And, it needs some, some white and whatnot. Right here, this came off from a overspray when I was spray painting the 20 newly sculpted Red Ranger resin heads that I have. And I actually took the new sculpt Red Ranger helmet that I had from the metallic Red Ranger and molded and resin casted that, so that's where the red came from. But yeah, it's all pretty much painted. There's some spots that need black and white, and the head it needs some black marks on there, and the eyes need to be painted red. I'm not going to paint the handle any color because it's already white, and after a while the paint will rub off when you're constantly putting it on. Putting it in and out of the character's hand, it'll eventually rub all that paint off. But it slides right in there. tight. It looks good. The shitty part about this figure, though, one of the reasons why it was so cheap was, because the person just took off all of the, took away most of the accessories except for one and took a dragon shield. It would actually be pretty cool to have another dragon shield laying around. I only have one, but also have a bunch of, resin casted shields. But the White Ranger that I did buy to go with this guy, the White Ranger's leg, which is right here, the ball joint was completely obliterated. Like, I don't know what the person did before me who owned it, but they destroyed that little joint that connected the kneecap down to the foot. And so with this guy right here, he has the fixed leg. So what I did was I took a ball joint that I have from my parts collection. I embedded it into the leg and super glued it in. I had to re-drill the hole in here in the boot so I can actually slide the ball joint in, and now it works perfectly. Now it's not going to come off. It's a little tight, which is good. It actually rotates fairly nicely. It's nice and tight. It's not going to go anywhere. And yeah, I think I did a pretty good job. That was actually maybe a third or fourth time that I've done a ball joint replacement on a figure, which obviously I did a pretty good job on. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this guy a solid 8. I think it's a pretty cool looking figure. And I'm actually going to be selling him on eBay pretty soon. Again, I'm probably not going to get very much for this figure, which is completely fine. But he is definitely one of a kind action figure. And I really hope he finds himself a good home. And before I go, another thing that I wanted to do with the helmet was originally I wanted to copy the White Ranger helmet, like where the lips are. So I was going to kind of, there it is, I was going to kind of shave the lips off and just make it look like a big giant, faceplate. But I think that would have been too much, But other than that, it's a nice looking figure. And let's do a 360 around the figure. I think it's pretty cool looking. It's awesome. Definitely one of a kind. Yeah, I think it's great. And another thing I was going to do with the figure too, I was originally going to, dye the legs and the hands black, so that way it would just be one solid black figure. But after putting it together and painting it and whatnot, I figured, no, I think it looks pretty cool this way, But yeah, that's all they have for this figure. And if you guys like my videos, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.